Oh, Angela's disappeared. Morning, all. Oh, she's back again. Look at that. Anyone would think we haven't rehearsed this.
I'm still having technical difficulties, so I'm on my phone. The only problem with that is I turned the notifications off for quite a few things. I forgot about Crowdcast. It just told me I'm going live, and I'm like, I know, go away.
Angela gave me some responsibility this morning. She says I can press the go live button. I felt like I was in control of a nuclear missile. It was brilliant.
Press the button. So, good morning, buenos dias, guten tag.
Right. So
How
what's
are we
today all
this
about?
morning?
Today it's all about brand. There you go.
I haven't got my glasses on, so I can't see what that
Well, it
says.
says brand. I'm wearing my gym coach top.
It wasn't suddenly so hot because I'm all afluster.
Right.
Da, da, da. I was going to wear it because I'm determined not to put the heating on. But who ordered winter?
Yeah.
Back again. It's so cold.
All you lovely people that are on here right now, I've just got a couple of questions for you. Have you ever missed an opportunity? Have you ever said things like, you know, I knew that was going to happen, or I wish I'd done that? Has anybody really wanted to have that thing called hindsight? I mean, I wish I had it in my golf shots. You know, when I hit the golf ball and then I say, oh, do you know what? I knew that was going to happen and I should have walked away. And sometimes we just need to almost take a step back and just look at those opportunities that are out there for us to maybe develop ourselves, our personal brand, our company brand, because they are out there. But I think we sometimes get so into the routine and the day-to-day duties and day-to-day slog of being a recruiter and trying to do deals that we often forget about, but are you truly representing your brand?
I think this is something, it was one of the competencies, wasn't it? The top competencies of a recruitment consultant was sales opportunities. And that wasn't about doing the selling. It was about spotting those little sort of gaps of light and, well, buying signals if you were actually on the call to a client. But there's so many other sales opportunities now where you are actually selling yourself and you don't even realize it. So that branding really comes in. And you know what? This is for you, Sarah. Are we allowed to do illicit advertising on here? I've had this mug. I must have had this mug 7 or 8 years. It went with the top. Look, see, branding. I always like to colour code things. So I suddenly thought, what have I got?
It's actually quite an important point because this is how branding has changed. And actually the branding has become a lot more digital because I know that some of you are on here and like Angela and I, we've got a few years under our belt. But our branding used to be either taking around personalized donuts or cups or mouse mats, you know, all these sorts of things. We'd have stress balls, frisbees, all this sort of printed or plastic from China, usually pens. And there was all this stuff that we would have with our branding on because we would just hope that they would have them, you know, the mug on their desk. And yeah, some companies still do it. But now it's almost like more about our digital footprint, our digital brand that's so important. And look, I'm old and I am a little bit anti those things on emails and stuff because when I talk to recruiters about their brand, and I said, when you have your email signature at the bottom of your email, and somebody in marketing has probably put that together for you, or you've done it yourself, and it's got a wonderful photograph of you sometimes, and it's got your company name, the proper font, you know, the logo, it's got your awards and your recognitions and notifications, your specializations, and you stick a smiley face at the bottom of it. And I've caused a little bit of uproar with this amongst my network. And I said, don't stick a smiley. Is that your brand? I said, if it was your brand, why don't you stick your smiley faces all over your website and your retainer proposals? See how that goes down.
See, alas, Chris and Clark, actually, we can get away with a smiley face because that is our brand, to have a bit of a laugh and to have some fun whilst learning sometimes. We ended up on Friday getting and talking about old school games and things from the past. Oh my God, I think there was nearly 100 comments because everyone suddenly got into it. And then we realized, oh, let's put a bit of work into this, because we're just talking about our old days, as it were. So with regards to opportunities missed then, so certainly starting with your email and actually your personal brand. So do you have sales links at the bottom? But I also want to talk about the people that are furloughed, because yesterday Alex was talking about a little bit of tough love for those furloughed people. Yeah, you've had 3 months off, and for some people have loved it. Some people it's been really tough, but now is the time to get cracking again. You've got to get back on the case. A lot of companies are bringing people back 1 day a week because they're paying the 20%. So it's what are you going to do in that 1 day to make sure that you are really effective? But what you can do the other 4 days that you could do business development wise and branding wise, that's actually just about you and developing you in the business. So what type of things could they be doing, Alan?
Well, I'm just looking at Tracy's comment, and obviously what I need to do is create myself. They're not called personalized emojis, they're called something else, aren't they? Stickers or something?
Oh, right. Yes.
There's another name for them. This is how technically adept I am. But yeah.
I have them. I've got a blonde one and a brown one because I keep changing my hair.
Yeah, I think, when it comes to, well, let me just say one thing first of all about, these opportunities. When we do our research, it's about, well, what are we doing with that research? Who do we pass it on to? And you could actually find some research that is good to pass on to another client or within your network. I mean, I do it. I know Angela does it. I like looking at the sort of the TED conferences. And if I know that there is a client of mine or a contact of mine that I know that it's going to be relevant to them right now, then I'll do that. There was one this morning that I liked and put out there. And it was all about dealing with stress and how stress can sometimes help people, but how to actually sort of deal with that stress. And I know that.
Oh, that was a lovely link, and you didn't even know you were doing it. Thursday's guest is Laurie West, talking about how you deal with stress.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. That was perfect. Yes. So back to your sharing.
So sharing good content, and if I said go back to the old days, we couldn't just drop a newspaper around to a client and say, cut out an article. It's so much easier now to share really good content amongst your network. There's a lot of us now that are in similar situations. For example, I was saying to someone yesterday, they said, oh, how can I open up my calls? And they said, I'm just coming back from furlough. And I said, well, why don't you have that as your opener? Because the chances are your clients might well have people coming back from furlough. They might have just come back from furlough. You don't know. Yeah. So if it's something that was topical and relevant to them and it creates chatter, and that's the whole idea behind the sort of the branding, is about sort of constantly drip feeding good content so that you do become front of mind. I mean, you and I have used the example of Coca-Cola for years. Why do they still advertise? Everybody knows they're the most popular soft drink in the world. Well, we know what would happen if they stopped doing that drip feeding and branding. First of all, we wouldn't know when Christmas was coming.
Holidays are coming. Holidays are coming.
Tomorrow we'll be on the wind down to Christmas. First of July tomorrow.
I've just remembered we always used to use it in our training, didn't we? But okay, quick question out there, and we'll come back to it in a second. In the sense of, we all know that Father Christmas, red and white suit. And the fact is, he never used to be red and white. It was only because Coca-Cola used him in a commercial. I'm getting 1931 in my head, but I'm not sure. That made him red and white to fit their branding. So what was Father Christmas before he was red and white? Okay, let's see if anyone knows that one. Catherine, Bitmoji. No, I'm not thinking that. It's more like an avatar, isn't it? It's your picture.
Avatar.
Okay, that was it. All right, okay. But
Come on, Catherine, get your act together.
I think it still has another name.
But so if we want to talk about missed opportunities for our branding, I just want to mention something that was mentioned, I think, in a webinar last week, and that is cross-selling. There is nothing worse than, for example, a client saying, oh, contract. Oh, I didn't know you guys did contracts, and there you are, sat next to or opposite your contracts counterpart. Oh, I didn't know you did retainers. We use whoever for that. And it's because we're not we probably don't understand fully our brand and what we're doing, but we're not taking advantage of those opportunities. When someone says, actually, we're not hiring anybody perm right now. Okay, tell me, what are your contract requirements? And this is about sort of expanding the brand, expanding your repertoire. Angela and I worked at Blue Arrow, and we used to do something called mega matching.
Yes, where you all got together. If you couldn't fill a job, so this is team in essence, isn't it? If you couldn't fill a job, then there was a day a week, was it? We had it like we all got together, and it was you took your jobs that you couldn't fill, or your really good candidates that you wanted to work elsewhere, and you all matched against them. This was around sort of 10 branches that you could do that, the location wise. So team does it on a national scale. So if you remember a team, hopefully you're taking advantage of that at the moment. They always put that on their website, or the available for crosses. And Sarah and Tracy, yeah, you right, green and brown.
Yeah.
Imagine Father Christmas being green and brown. It just doesn't fit, does it? But there you go, Coca-Cola turned in red and white. Looks much smarter.
And in fact, I haven't got my personal branding because mine is recruiter fit, and I've been saying to Angela for years that I'm trying to look like my logo, so much so that I even bought myself a black suit, an all-in-one black suit. And when Angela used to come to my house and do some filming, she actually helped me out of it one day, but completely ripped open the costume at the back. I mean, she's so heavy-handed. So it's
all on YouTube, apart. Guys. It's on YouTube. Go and have a look. Alas, Watson Clark. It's scary.
But, you know,
anyway,
sometimes it's just those simple things. Like, for example, sometimes we don't like listening to our own voicemail messages. You know, what do your voicemail messages say about you on your phone? What do your out of offices say about you? Hold on. Here's my out of office. Ready? so you know, what does your out of office say about you? You know what? You know, yes, we've talked about our emails, but your proposals, your documents, your literature you put together, your website, the amount of times, and in fact, it was on a retainer course years and years ago. I put up on a PowerPoint presentation a paragraph of why people should use retainers, and everyone in the room was like, oh, right, really good idea, writing this down. Then I put another paragraph, and oh, yeah, that's really good, writing it down. I got to the third paragraph, and one of the people in the room said, I recognize these. And I said, yeah, all of this information is on your website. They didn't even know what was on their website by way of how they promote themselves and their different service offerings. And I thought, well, how can you live and breathe a brand if you don't know what it is, if you don't know the details?
It's really important. So for those furloughed people, think about your own personal brand at the moment. So your LinkedIn, how is that representing you? What's it saying about you? It's time for an update, definitely. And thinking about coming back, what's going to be some of the key things? You can be doing all that market research for yourself. And therefore, it might be that you share it with a colleague if you can't do that from your own personal account because of all the issues and all the rest of it. But it is important that you are keeping up to date with what's going on, and that's going to give you opportunities. You're going to read stuff now, you're going to see stuff on LinkedIn, in the groups that you're in, around people talking about when they're coming back, when they're likely to be recruiting, what's happening in their business. Start gathering all that market knowledge now, so that when you come back, you can dive straight in and you're taking advantage of all those opportunities. And your brand, you can share stuff on LinkedIn. There's no reason why not. So anything good that you get, saw this, saw that, this is interesting. And if you want to tag people, then that's fine as well. Yeah. So let's get moving, let's get started, and let's focus. So those of you that are working, yeah, you should be sharing all of that stuff and making sure that people see you as that fountain of all knowledge.
Yeah,
that's a great brand to have.
Yeah, and I think Alex maybe touched upon this yesterday about sort of quality and quantity, and you're saying, you know, some people are going to balk at the fact that, you know, you've got to do the numbers, but you speak to one client and ask them what their challenges are, you know, over the next 6 months. That's one client's challenge. You ask 20, 30 clients the same thing, you now start to formulate market opinion. You now start to get market insight. And to put that into some sort of branded report with your name, your logo, and everything else, and it's you discussing, current challenges that CEOs are facing in the tech market, and you think, oh, it's not quite white paper, but this is good stuff, and it's stuff that you can refer people to. It's a bit like, having something in a magazine that you used to have on a coffee table, say, oh, I've got an article in that, So I think there's opportunities out there, whether that's on your candidate calls, your client calls, your reference calls, any process call that you're doing. It could be arranging an interview, a prep, a debrief, anything like that is an opportunity for you to reinforce your brand, raise your brand, to cross-sell, to ask the right questions. You will be known as a super duper recruiter if you ask the right questions. It's not about your selling. It's about how you structure questions, and it's about how you demonstrate your specialist market knowledge.
Okay, so we've got some nice links there. First of all, the prepping on and briefing of your clients is what Alan is actually going to be talking about this afternoon. And it's a really missed sales opportunity there. You helping your clients to do a good interview. From experience, they're not always that great at interviewing, and therefore if you offer to help them and support them in the briefing, and there's probably like 20 things you can brief them on, so Alan's going to be going through that this afternoon in the webinar, so we'll put the link in here and click on that one, because that's a great sales opportunity. You're proving your brand that you're a consultant, and that you're there to help. If it was your LinkedIn profile, well, we've got Catherine. She's going to be doing a LinkedIn recruiter course for us, so that's going to be the next one that she's going to be doing. We've got the candidate sourcing and engagement, so looking after your candidates. And you talked about contracts earlier. Russell, Monday 27th of July, we've got the contracts course. So if you're not doing contracts and you want to do it, or you want to grow your contracts desk, then that's a great one as well. Last thought for the day then to leave them with, to go off and do.
Actually it's more of a plug really, because Catherine's on here, and I'm actually going to be doing the stand up with Catherine tomorrow, so I'm really looking forward to her doing her Dalek impression, judging by her last comment she's just put on there. So I don't know what Angela's doing, probably having her nails done or something.
I'm actually doing some paid work. Isn't that lovely? So there you go, that's a nice positive to finish on. I've got a half-day training course, paid work.
I think really it's just have an awareness of your personal brand. Who are you communicating to? How are you communicating? And what is that lasting message that you are leaving that client or that candidate with? Are they thinking, wow, what a great guy, what a great gal? That was terrible. But, wow, they are so good. They really know what they're doing. I will remember them. And that sort of brand has now just been imprinted there. So just constantly think about, what is it people are going to be thinking about me when I've clicked that send, and when I've put that phone down, and when I've switched off going live.
Are you actually going to do that in time? Because it is you that's doing it.
Okay. Well, look, have a great, what day are we today? Don't know.
Tuesday. It's only Tuesday.
Have a fantastic Tuesday. Some of you I'll see at 1 o'clock. Sorry. Bye all.
Bye-bye.